I do it? Well, SECZIM has the answer for you.
Welcome to the Hustle and Stock program brought to you by the Securities and Exchange Commission of Zimbabwe, SECZIM, the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, ZSE, Investor Protection Fund, IPF, Chengetedzai Depository Company, CDC, and the Financial Securities Exchange, FinSec, as part of the My Zim Hustle campaign. Tell us what your hustle is. Visit www.myzimhustle.co.zw or the My Zim Hustle Facebook page, Twitter at My Zim Hustle, or WhatsApp 0775 574 587 and join the conversation.
Now, this campaign seeks to help the average Zimbabwean to understand how to harness the stock market to grow their money that they make and to think long-term about their finances as well as financial planning through the local investment platforms that already exist. Now, Zimbabweans work hard for every single dollar that they make, hustling to make an honest living. Yet the hustling we're talking about here isn't exactly what you might think it is. The hustling that we know in Shona as kukia or ukukupanda in Isindebele has become the common practice for having multiple income streams rather than just relying on one job, which is what the average Zimbabwean does. Now, while we're busy hustling, how many of us have actually ever stopped to think about the future? Can you actually keep it up for the next few years? Have you even thought about investing in the medium to the long term? And have you thought about how your money can hustle for you over the next 3 to 5 years? Now, last week, we actually spoke about what the capital market was and the people in and around it. And today we'll be talking about the steps that to take in order to get onto the capital market. Now, you can tell us what your hustle is. You can visit www.myzimhustle.co.zw. The website again is www.myzimhustle.co.zw. And you can go to the My Zim Hustle Facebook page or Twitter on @MyZimHustle or the WhatsApp group that's on 0775 574 587. Now that number is only for WhatsApp messages. The number again, I'll repeat, is 0775 574 587. Now, how to get started when it comes to investing in the capital markets? We've looked at investing in capital markets in Zimbabwe and the basics of investing and why it's prudent to do so in this environment. Now, today we want to talk about the actual steps that one actually takes in order to start investing on the capital markets. So, if you haven't done that already, grab a pen and a paper. Maybe you'll be learning quite a few things that you may want to write down. Now, the main steps to guide you through the investment process start with number 1. Simple. A bank account. One is actually required to have a personal bank account with a bank listed here in Zimbabwe. So if you don't already have a bank account, it's time that you open a bank account. You need one. Some of us may not like the idea of banks right now because of everything, but you need a bank account. And then you find a stockbroker or investment manager, also known as a custodian, where you can actually open an investment account. Now, you can find a list of licensed stockbrokers and asset management managers on www.seczim.co.zw. Now, the advantage of using this list is you're guaranteed all of these are regulated by certain bodies and they adhere to the standards and requirements that govern the sector. So you'll be protected. So go on there, look for the kind of broker that you want, and you can select one. Once your investment account has been opened, you can deposit the funds that you want to invest in the account provided by the stockbroker. Now, you can then discuss the selecting of the stocks and the shares you want to buy. Say, for example, if you want to buy Delta, you want to buy NMB, you want to buy Seedco, etc. You sit down with your broker and then you decide with the money that you've deposited and with the money that you have, what shares can you actually buy? And that's the conversation that happens next. Now, after that, the next step is instructing your broker to purchase the number of shares of a company of your choice that you want to buy stock in. Now, the broker executes the purchase on your behalf, and when the purchase has taken place, they notify you of that purchase, and an electronic share certificate is issued to you by the Central Securities. We've talked about this before to say back in the day you'd get a physical copy of the of your certificate, but now to try and speed things faster, you actually get an electronic certificate once the shares have been issued by the Central Securities and your transaction has actually been completed. Now, congratulations, you are now an investor. Now, we do encourage you, make sure you join the conversation. You can go to www.myzimhustle.co.zw, or you can actually ask some of your questions about investing on the MyZimHustle Facebook page. That's on Twitter on @MyZimHustle, or you can actually do that on Facebook as well, or use the WhatsApp platform that exists. This number is for WhatsApp only, so that's on 0775 574 587. The number again is 0775 574 587. That number is only for WhatsApp messages. Now, some of the finer things that you need to talk to, we've spoken about the 7 steps on how to actually become an investor. Now, to break it down, opening a bank account. Now, that seems like the simplest part. So to start investing locally, you need to have a bank account with a local bank. The account will be useful when you sell your shares and when you receive dividends from the company that you hold shares in. The main requirements for you to open an individual bank account may vary, but usually they require your national ID, your proof of residence, a passport size photo, and a pay slip if one is available. So make sure, if you need to shop around, pick a bank and open an account. Now, when you're approaching a stockbroker is an agent who facilitates for the buying and the selling of shares on the stock exchange. And as an individual, you cannot trade shares on your own without the services of a registered stockbroker. Fill in the forms and open an account with a broker, and also obtain forms of a custodian if the broker recommends one. Now, the choice of opening a custodian account is at the investor's discretion. That's you. So you get to make that decision. Most stockbrokers will assist you in the opening of a depository account, and you are encouraged to use registered stockbrokers to avoid being defrauded. And like I said, the list of registered custodians is available on the website. That's www.seczim.co.zw. And the brokers will speak to you about their fees when you sit down with them and you talk to them about your investing goals. All capital market investors are also mandated to open a CSD investor account through either one of the stockbrokers as well as one of the custodians. So at least that's some of the key steps that you need to actually take on if you want to open a bank account, or rather if you want to become an investor. So we're going to keep talking about this. If you have any questions, join in the conversation right here on Startup Capital, your business breakfast show.
We are known to be hard workers. We do this and that to make sure our families are taken care of. We have that Zimbo spirit. We are hustlers. But have you stopped to consider the growth of your money in 3 to 5 years? Have you thought about the stock market? Follow the conversation on www.facebook.com/MyZimHustle and find out how you can prepare for the future on the stock market.
Right, so we've been talking about how to become an investor. Now, when it comes to selecting the shares and the stocks that you want, you select the companies that you wish to buy shares from, the companies listed on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange or the FinSec. And you start your shares, to select your shares, you first need to establish what your investment objectives are. So, for example, if your objectives are short term, so that's 2 years or less, then you want to withdraw your investments less than 2 years. For example, if you're saving for your child's university fees, for a business venture, or maybe for a car. There are types of investments that work better for people who are looking for short-term gains. It's always advisable for you to talk to your broker about the best type of investment for your investment objectives. They have access to a lot of research and information on the market, and they will make it available to you. Now, if you're looking at a long-term investment, which is above 2 years, the main focus of long-term investors is usually building wealth. And you may want to actually invest in the stock market so that you may finance your future retirement, maybe your toddler's college education several years from now, or maybe even buy a good house, and you just really want to see your money grow and multiply. Now, those are some of the long-term goals. It's always advisable to sit down and talk to your broker about the best type of investments for your investment objectives. They have the access to the research and the information that will help you make the best decision. Now, when you're talking about depositing your funds into an account, once you've received confirmation from your broker that the account has been opened, deposit funds into the account provided by your broker and notify them of that deposit. Once the funds are reflecting in your account with the broker, you can now send an instruction to your broker to purchase shares. For example, if you want 200 shares of the company XYZ Limited, then at the current market price. The broker will send the order to the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange via an electronic platform. Once they're available, the trade will be executed and you'll receive notification from your broker of the purchase. Now, the issuance of the electronic share certificate, after you've purchased the shares, you'll be issued with the electronic share certificate by the CSD. And if you want a hard copy of your certificate, you can request one at a cost with the CSD as well. But you will need to convert it into electric form when you want to sell your shares. We do encourage investors to keep their certificates in electronic forms. That's in dematerialized form in order to enable the safekeeping by the CSD as well as the ease of trading. So especially if you want to then offload your shares quickly, if you want to sell them, it becomes a little bit easier. Now, the last thing that you need to know is what people always call the KYC, which is the new Know Your Customer requirements. Now, the Securities Exchange Commission of Zimbabwe, that's the SECZ, is in a notice to all the security market intermediaries as well as the investment public, introduce a new Know Your Customer, that's KYC requirements for opening an investments account with the investment asset manager, securities dealer, stockbrokers, custodians, central securities deposits, and securities deposits account. The new KYC requirements are approved by the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe's Bank Use, Promotion and Suppression of Money Laundering Unit. That's the Financial Intelligence Unit, the initiative undertaken as part of the SECZ's mandate to promote financial inclusion, facilitate the ease of doing business as the security market development, and is meant to actually promote the participation of the general public in the local capital markets. So this was created for us. So while we're celebrating, some of the documents that are now required under these new KYC rules are, if you're a Zimbabwean living in Zimbabwe, you need an ID card, a Zimbabwean bank account details, and completed security trading account opening form. That's basically it. It's most of what we've already gone through in the morning. Now, if you're a Zimbabwean living in the diaspora, what you need is an ID card, a Zimbabwean bank account details, completed securities trading account opening form. Essentially, the only difference is you can't use, if you're living in the diaspora, you can't use an account in the country where you're living. You still need a local Zimbabwean bank account. Now, if you're a foreigner, then what you now need is a valid passport and a completed securities trading account opening form. Now, for companies that are local and foreign, the rules are slightly different. What you need is a certified copy of the certificate of incorporation, a board resolution, a national ID card or valid passport for the signatories of the company, and completed securities trading account opening form. Now, a lot of these aren't too much to ask. And I think, sit down again with your broker, ask them and walk through the process with them. Now, if you would like to ask any more questions and if you definitely want to join in the conversation, you can go onto the website www.myzimhustle.co.zw and you can ask your questions about investing on the MyZimHustle Facebook page, on Twitter, that's on @MyZimHustle, or on the WhatsApp platform, which I reiterate is for WhatsApp messages only. That's on 0775 574 587.